Coming straight out of the internet, a crazy YouTuber named Genius. That's right, I got a big Venus flytrap, cause that's how I'm rolling out. To all you trolls that's throwing out comments that make no sense, B. Just relax and drink a little Pepsi. Sit back, get right and chill. My advice is free, I don't send no bill. What's up guys, Genius Pie Trap, and this is Runnin' My Trap. We got impressions on the Steam controller, impressions on the Steam Link. Before I get started, however, I want to squash any rumors floating out there. Put them to bed before they get completely out of control. The answer is no. No, I will not be joining NWA. Despite what you heard, my dope rhyming can only be heard on this channel. So, Dr. Dre, I'm sorry. The answer is no. I get it, man. I get it. There's a lot of money left out on the table, and I would be a perfect fit for the group, but sorry, the answer is no. Ice Cube, hey homie, I know you're listening. Lose my number. I can't help you out. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk Steam controller. Let me give you guys a little bit of background about myself because I think this is important when discussing the Steam controller and the Steam Link. I was first a console gamer. I mean, that was who I was. I didn't PC game at all. So I'm very familiar with the Xbox controller, the PlayStation controller, the various Nintendo controllers. I grew up on those controllers. I didn't do much PC gaming till later. Now I am mainly a PC gamer. When I first started PC gaming, I hated the mouse and keyboard. Absolutely hated it. Fast forward to today, and I love the mouse and keyboard. I simply cannot play first-person shooters or any type of game where you aim at all on a controller, on a console controller. I still do play with the controller on my Steam games for certain types of games like platformers, that sort of thing. I also really liked gaming on the couch in front of a big screen TV with a surround sound system that I thought was the best. Fast forward to today, and I like having a big screen monitor. I like sitting at a desk. I actually prefer it most of the time. There is something to be said about sitting on a comfy couch and that sort of thing, but to be honest with you, it's just easier, it's more convenient for me personally to game on my PC because I'm already on my PC anyway. Whether I'm surfing on the internet or doing whatever, it's just easy to start playing a game from there. Now, all that being said, Steam Link, Steam controller. So take this with a grain of salt. I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from and who I am and how I'm forming all of these opinions. As a PC gamer, I really like the Steam controller, though it's not all good. Same thing with the Steam Link. I think it's a great thing to have. I question who it's marketed for, but we'll get into that later. As far as how the Steam controller feels, it's excellent. It is by far, for me, the most comfortable controller. It literally just fits into your hand. Very well done. It's very similar in size to the Xbox 360, Xbox One controller, but it just has a little bit more ergonomics to it. Alright, Steam controller, it has one analog stick, and that feels great. I feel it's just as good as the Xbox controller, the PlayStation controller. Feels great. No complaints about that whatsoever. Same thing with the start, select, and the middle Steam logo button. Now, on the left-hand side, we have what would normally be a D-pad, but instead it's a D-pad slash thumb pad, I guess, whatever you want to call it, that functions both ways. Now, I don't use the D-pad much in any of my games when I use a controller. I know they're big for fighting games and things like that. I'm not a big fighting game guy, though I tried it out with Mortal Kombat X and a couple other games. And from what I played, and again, I'm not an expert at those types of games, I feel that the normal D-pad is by far superior for those types of games. I just can't see having the precision with the Steam controller D-pad. I had an easier time pulling off moves with the left analog stick than I did with that D-pad. Now maybe that's just me and it takes some getting used to, but I kind of highly doubt it. Now, and let's talk about those pads to begin with. Now, there's only one control stick, so you have to aim with your thumb sliding across the pad. Takes a little bit getting used to. In fact, if you are very used to a controller, it's going to take a lot of getting used to. But once you do, I think it works very well. As a PC gamer, I like it a lot. First-person shooter games, I cannot aim worth a piss using a controller, a dual analog controller. I had a much easier time using the right pad to aim my reticule. I also tried this out on twin stick shooter type games. I also prefer the Steam controller using that. I felt I had much more aim and much more control using those pads. It functions very much like a trackball. Again, not near as good as a mouse, but better than an analog stick in my opinion. Now the face buttons, I just want to quick mention the face buttons. They are far too small on the Steam controller. I like the big old fat face buttons on the Xbox One controller. They just feel much better. I like the placement of the buttons better on the Xbox One controller. As far as layout goes, I prefer the Xbox One, Xbox 360 controller. I just like where the buttons are. I don't like having to move my thumb down to the buttons. My thumb wants to naturally go and hit the B button on the Steam controller instead of the A button. It's just the way it's placed. It's in a weird spot. I'm not really sure how they would change that. It's just kind of the design of it. You have to put those big old pads somewhere, and that's kind of the only way they can go. Though I feel they could move the middle buttons up and kind of rearrange some things down there. I think there's room for improvement there. Alright, the back of the controller. I love the back side of this controller. The triggers are great, the shoulder buttons are great, nothing to complain about there. But what really sets it apart is these two buttons on the bottom. There's extra two buttons that you can control with your ring and middle finger, and it definitely makes gaming much easier than the other controllers. When playing a first-person shooter, for example, normally to reload or to jump or do a lot of the controls, you would have to take your thumb off the stick and say hit the A button to jump. Instead, you can map that to one of these bottom controls and never have to move your hand off the analog stick. I was testing this out with Killing Floor 2, and I had the buttons mapped so the reload was on one side and the jump was on the other side. So I very rarely had to take my hand off the pad. Now, all that being said, what do I think of this Steam controller? I personally like it a lot. I will be using it a lot. It works great with the Steam Link, though that doesn't mean I'm going to be throwing away my 360 controllers for gaming. I think there's certain instances where those controllers might just work a little bit better, especially for what kind of game you play. Again, I can't see, say, a PS4 controller beating out the Steam controller when you want to play a game of Street Fighter or something like that. I personally like it a lot, though, for the games that I play. Alright, Steam controller works great with the Steam Link. In the Steam Link, what can I say except that it simply works. I had no issues at all hooking it up. It works wired, it works wirelessly, it works very well wirelessly. They really suggest that you hook it up wired. I really didn't have much of an issue with it going wireless, to be honest with you guys. It works great. It's Steam Big Picture Mode on your TV. Now, all that being said, there's a lot of stuff that Valve did right with this, the Steam Link and the Steam controller, and some stuff that they did wrong. As a PC gamer, I love this thing, but I'm not sure it's meant for PC gamers. I love it that they opened it up to the community where they have all these different configurations that you can download from different users. That just is great. That's excellent. But in the same sense, I don't feel it was all quite ready for prime time. If you are a console gamer and you pick up a Steam Link and a Steam controller, you're probably going to be a little lost. You're probably not going to like that it's not that easy, that it takes a little bit of messing around, something that a PC gamer is used to. I can take most games and it automatically works with a 360 controller. It just works. All the button prompts are on screen and it just works. It's all configured. It works great. Now the Steam controller, not the same. As of now, until we get more support, you have to kind of rely on the community setting up controls or set up the controls yourself. Now as a PC gamer, I like that sort of thing. That kind of thing appeals to me. I think it's great. Though I wonder if this is targeted towards console gamers, if they will not think it's easy enough and will prefer the 360 controller, which luckily enough can be used with the Steam Link. So you're covered either way. It personally took me a little while to get used to the Steam controller. If you are a console gamer, it's probably going to take you 3 times as long as it took me to get used to the Steam controller. The Steam Link and Steam controller also works great with browsing the internet on your TV. So if I want to watch YouTube videos or go on a message board or something like that, I can easily do that on the Steam Link, and it controls much better with the Steam controller because it has mouse-like controls with the pads. Well done on that aspect. And I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys liked the video. Steam Link, Steam controller. I have the tutorials out there, so search those out. But talk to you guys later. Genius Pie Trap, over and out. Later. Bye.
Victory.
The outcome was never really in doubt.
Eat my dust!
Let's have a go at it!
Godspeed, you magnificent bastard!
Giddy up!
It is good time to be giant man!
Guts and glory!